Real news. Honest and fun political talk weekly on the line 90.7 FM. Okay, welcome back to Real News Uncensored here. We are in another different location. In a very, you can't see, obviously, because you're just listening, but we have a really ghetto, janky setup going here because we actually had to change rooms. But we're still broadcasting here for you guys. We're going to talk about first the Jussie Smollett story that's developed more since it broke last time when we were on, that the cops were onto his ass.
Yep.
The Empire actor has now turned himself in after being charged with disorderly conduct for staging a hate crime. He's facing 3 years in prison, may be forced to pay for the investigation costs, which would be nice. The two Nigerian brothers who worked on the show told detectives that Smollett paid $3,500 to fake the crime, and he did this because he was dissatisfied with his salary, according to the police. And he's now been removed from the final 2 episodes of the season of Empire. I think they're on their 5th season. And this is, of course, totally, contrary to what he originally claimed, that all these 2 men attacked him and beat him up, tied a noose around his neck, and yelled, "This is MAGA country." It was totally fake. And I think his motives are more beyond than a salary raise. I think he really wanted to turn himself into a victim and turn himself into this now figurehead of anti-Trump resistance.
Yeah. So the last that we were hearing, I guess they were saying that it was either that he was trying to stay on the show or he was trying to get more money. But there was also a possibility, like you said, that he wanted, like, after this show, he wanted to do some sort of activism. But it's hard to do activism if you really haven't gone through anything well known in your personal life. So, I guess, hey, stage your own shit and we'll see where it ends up, I guess. I don't know. But hey, did I not call it though? Did I not call it?
Oh, yeah.
The Fox thing. You remember when we were talking about the Fox, when Fox gave that corporate line, like,
yeah.
"Oh, we stand by Jussie Smollett and we're gonna wait for the details." And we were all saying, it's a corporate response, because if shit goes downhill and it's found to be going downhill, like these big corporations, they'll throw you on your ass and on a dime. And well, lo and behold, here we found more stuff out. And they originally they were gonna let him play those last 2 episodes, and then he got there, and it's like, maybe not.
I think all of us immediately when we saw this story thought, yeah, this is bullshit.
Well, yeah.
Nobody believed this shit, except people on the left. And we even I even gave him the benefit of the doubt on a small degree, where I said, well, I think it's all bullshit. The only other possibility
There's
I would
no way
see,
in hell I was going to say that shit.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to call bullshit right away.
I
wasn't going to. I knew it was bullshit. There's no way in hell I was going to say that shit publicly. Mm-hmm.
Well, what I did think was that the only other possibility was that he was attacked, but it wasn't by Trump supporters, and they didn't say this is MAGA country. That was the only alternative I thought, but I thought it was total bullshit.
Well, the thing is, too, I think the reason he was kicked off, you mentioned that with the company, they threw him to the curb. Well, they really should have, because he was trying to defraud the company, basically, using this to get a salary raise. He admitted to that, at least to the 2 Nigerian princes. But, it was complete BS. You just have to think, why would someone leave a noose around their neck? They'd at least take that off and then hold it, or take a picture of it and then take it off. It was complete fabricated stuff, but you can't say it these days because, they're going to say, oh, you're racist and it's Black History Month and this and that. But, you can see that coming from a mile away.
Even if these MAGA attackers existed.
MAGA attackers.
Yeah, I'm trying to even make this shit up just to try to, I'm reaching. Okay, bear with me, YouTubeverse. I'm reaching. But even if even if these people did exist, they're like, get over here, goddammit. And like, would they show up in Chicago? Would they really show their face in Chicago? Like,
Chicago's like the bluest city in the world.
Come on.
He was in like the gentrified part of Chicago too, like, and that's why he's trying to go and say, "Oh, it's the racist police officers over here who didn't believe me" or something. I think that's what he's trying to go for.
And the police commissioner was black.
He wanted the police not to believe him because he made up such an outlandish story, so he could go and spin this victim narrative and write a book about it. So he was tired of not making so much money. But you know, they did more research on this guy. You know, he was found that like years ago he was also lying to police officers when he had like a DUI incident in like 2007. And he got like a slap on the wrist for that too. It was like I think like 2 years probation or something. Like, this is a career criminal that we have here. Yeah. You know, he might not be like a gangbanger, but he's a serial liar, and he makes up stories to benefit himself, and he doesn't care about others, which is he's got DUI. He didn't have a license to drive a vehicle too. And he didn't even get sent to jail. He just got probation.
And what's worse is that he does this during Black History Month, which I think is rather deliberate. And that just is, Did you hear?
It's
just so wrong.
Did you hear what Cardi B? You hear what Cardi B said?
What was that?
No, hold on. Let me look this up.
Okay, let me look
that
up.
What's Cardi B?
Yeah, what I was saying though was that you're trying to make African Americans look good during this month and highlight their achievements, and you pull this shit. It makes you and the rest of the community look bad. It takes the attention away from all the good stuff the African American community's done. Now you're talking about this every day. It's like, this is the problem. Like, people like Jussie Smollett are part of the problem, and then the media goes and runs with it for 2 weeks here, just harping on how he did nothing wrong. This is hate in America in 2019. Like, that's what I saw with this one CNN girl. I think it's that one that's on during the daytime. Yeah. She's like, this is America in 2019.
Yeah. So Cardi B, she went on Instagram like on this last Monday, and after we found out that Jussie staged the whole thing, said, "I'm really disappointed in him. I feel like he fucked up Black History Month, bro. Yeah. Damn." And look, I mean, it's true. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. Cardi B said, she has she says some things that I disagree with from time to time, but the one thing I can respect is, it's real. It's real. Like, she messages
authenticity.
Stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's real. So, I think I think once he messed up, it's like it's not that it's amazing, but it's like amazing at the level of people that were just like, you got to be out of your mind. Because Joe Budden on his podcast, he was like, there's no way in hell you're gonna that I'm gonna keep a noose around my neck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The whole thing. It's just like, I don't know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see is what the cops will charge him with, if at all. Will he get off scot-free? Is it this case of rich people getting away? Or is he actually going to have to face the consequences?
No, he made a mockery of Chicago. They're going to throw the full police force on. He basically went out and said, Chicago's a racist city.
What?
He made everyone... that's basically what he said. Like, that's basically what his actions did. He was saying, this is a racist city. There's racist people in Chicago. The police don't help black people. That's basically what he's doing, like what his actions were trying to go and do. He made them look bad. He took 12 police investigators for probably like a month each doing this paperwork. He should do time for that. And he had like $100,000 bail plus taking away his passport. They want to get him. He's going to be doing either some time or I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing some jail time at least.
Yeah.
At the very least. And he's not going to have a job after this. He's going to be pretty much, blacklisted probably from the industry because they know that. Well, see, they're gonna like no one's gonna want to work with him because they know that he'll lie to go and make, try to go and get some extra money on him. Like no one's gonna believe him.
Oh yeah, he that's the thing here is he thought this was gonna make him big, make him bigger than ever before. No, this just fucked your life up so hard because he didn't even do a good job with it. Like if you're gonna fake a fucking hate crime, do a good job. He hires 2 Nigerians to do it. I don't know about you, but I don't know many black white supremacists that will yell, "This is MAGA country."
Get him out of here, goddammit.
Yeah.
Round him up. Round him up, goddammit.
Send him back to Africa.
Like, yeah.
He was too stupid. Like they have police cameras everywhere in Chicago. You see how much crimes they got, especially in the gentrified parts. What did he think was going to happen? They're going to get a video of it.
Did you hear what David Chappelle
Oh
said?
yeah.
So the very talented comedian said on one of his sets after that the whole Jussie Smollett situation made him so mad that he wanted to break a dollhouse over the star's head. Now for the
Hart
YouTube
reference.
So for the YouTube verse that doesn't know, Kevin Hart got into some trouble for saying if his son, like something to the tune
If his
of
son was gay, I
if
think.
his son
Yeah.
was gay, he would break a dollhouse over his head. And so that's what made this so funny. And like I gotta say, that's very quick because it only happened a couple of days prior to that. Like I got.
And what's funny too is he's also using the words of a black. Jay Chappelle's a black comedian, using the words of a black comedian to shit on a black actor. You know, what I'm saying is the left here is in a catch-22. Which black guy are they going to defend? Are they going to defend the gay black guy, or the 2 black comedians? You know, I mean, the gay black actor has more victim points in their mind, so they should be theoretically defending him.
Who's higher on the intersectional ladder here?
Yeah. Yeah, I just imagine a pedestal like at the Oppression Olympics of Jussie Smollett #1. Then I guess you could put Dave Chappelle #2 and then Kevin Hart 3. Because he shit on gay people, so they're not going to like that with his jokes. So they're not going to like that. But that's funny. That's actually really clever of Chappelle to use that when you think about it.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Because, he used a gay joke from another black comedian to shit on a gay black actor.
It don't matter. There's no holds barred here.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, I'm always interested in what's happening in culture. And speaking of this sort of stuff, another cultural figure that's now going to probably not going to be much one anymore, R. Kelly. I don't know if you heard about this, but recently he was just indicted and turned himself into Chicago PD on sexual abuse charges of 4 women, 3 of which are underaged. And the prosecution is saying that he supposedly greeted one of them, that was a hairdresser, with his pants down and tried to force her to give him oral sex. When she resisted, he ejaculated on her and spit on her. And another one they have is a videotape supposedly showing him having sex with a 14-year-old girl.
His mind's telling him no, but his body's telling him yes. No, I think and this is like crazy because when this whole thing went down, like this is like especially now with the whole, the Me Too Time's Up movements.
Yeah.
I think this might do him in because.
Oh yeah, I think he's done.
Because he's gotten away with a lot. Like
and these videos have been out for a while. For doing this shit.
I mean, you're talking about like decades worth of stuff.
Yeah, he's done.
That has been kind of out there, and I think now in this present social environment, I think I think we could be seeing he's in a bad way.
Oh,
I mean, it's hard, and it's like multiple counts too, right? Is it like
they have 4 women and they've hit him with a bunch of sexual abuse charges?
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I think he's going to also get more, too. The judge has now set his bond at $1 million as of today.
I mean, I'm sure R. Kelly has that somewhere. But
Oh yeah, but I think his reputation's destroyed now. This is, a guy that's been, people have been talking about this for a while. Like, this isn't anything new, and it looks really bad. He's done, and what's going to be interesting also to see is he's going to be next, because there's also videos of other people doing creepy shit that makes people raise their eyebrows.
he's a go-getter. He'll be all right. Okay, are we sick of the R. Kelly references? Okay. got it.
I don't know any R. Kelly
Fine.
references.
All right.
I
You
don't
got
listen
me.
to his music, but I've heard his music's like pretty fucked up too.
Well, see, this wasn't the first time he got in trouble, though. Didn't R. Kelly get busted for pissing on underage girls, like, back in the early days? Like, they did a
Oh,
Boondocks
shit.
episode on that.
No, remember?
Like,
I was
this, he's
telling you
repeat
about
Yeah,
offender.
I remember you said that, but I
Yeah.
didn't quite get the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pissing on people. Like, how does he get away with
Dave
doing this
Chappelle.
twice?
Dave Chappelle made a reference on that on the Dave Chappelle show when he made the R. Kelly music video. It was
Oh,
like
really?
it was called Piss. It was called Piss on You, and he was like,
Oh.
yeah. It was
Wow.
funny. It was like I still missed it. I'm honestly I still missed the Chappelle show.
Same.
Probably one of the funniest shows ever.
Oh yeah, that was
But
funny. Have you seen the race draft
What-
skit?
yeah,
That one's one of my
funny too,
favorites.
yeah. You're saying
Well,
something, Alex?
no, yeah, I think we have a big problem in our society, though, because this is like right after they had that big thing with Harvey Weinstein, and then like 6ix9ine and all these other like famous people, and there was that YouTuber who was like busted for what was it, receiving and recording child pornography, who would go and make a video on YouTube and post it on there, telling girls like how to go and twerk, like underage girls go and twerk their ass. Like there was some YouTuber who got like sent to jail recently for that, and it's like more and more people are getting involved with this disgusting. Like, what's happened to society? Like, and it's all these like famous people. They don't know what to do. Like, we had this big thing on YouTube where they had like years ago. You'd go and see on these Minecraft, like big Minecraft videos, you get all these pedophiles in there, and like it's like more and more you see this stuff becoming in the mainstream.
Well, I think
Like-
with Hollywood, it's something that's always been there. It's just finally getting uncovered. Because once Harvey Weinstein got taken down, then all these big ones came out. That's when you had Kevin Spacey get taken down. You had Louis C.K. You had, what else? There's some other big ones I'm forgetting. It was like every
Well, who
week
was-
was just like a new name.
Well, who was that guy who made what was it, Drake and Josh, and that other one with Miranda Cosgrove?
I know what you're thinking
I don't
of.
think he ever got busted, but if you ever watch those, like you look back at those, there's all this really weird feet shots in there.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with that? Like, how come he hasn't been busted yet? I think he got like busted with Miranda Cosgrove, but she was 18 at the time, so nothing got done. But,
Right.
like, dude, and it's not even just Hollywood now. It's like everyone, like big YouTubers are now getting busted with kids. It's
Well,
like, and
I
I think it's just in general, like our society, like with the internet and all, I think it's allowed this sort of behavior to prosper. Because back then, if you wanted to be a sick fuck, it was a lot harder to get your stuff done. You didn't have the internet at your disposal. Nowadays, you could just go and like go into Minecraft comments or Fortnite, and you can even go into YouTube. Like they've had some guy discovered, like once you click on certain videos on YouTube, it'll start putting you into like a YouTube like time warp, and you'll just get these videos popping up on your feed. And it's like algorithms that are basically enabling this and the internet.
Well, I think also a lot of these famous people are the type of people that would do this sort of thing because of the person that goes into what they do. These are people that, especially actors, they're always faking it. That's why you can never detect it, because they're actors. They're always faking it. And they're also people that I think seek attention, seek wealth, power, and there's nothing, more of a sick power move than controlling another woman or controlling another person. And that's like with Harvey Weinstein, a very powerful guy, and he wants more power, more control over people. And one of the ways he does that is through his fucked up perverted shit. And this is definitely something. What was that?
I think it's a number of things.
Oh yeah, it's a number of factors.
Like each one's different. Like
Yeah.
I look at I not that I condone it, but like with Harvey Weinstein, you know, you were talking about this rich, famous, well-connected, but kind of ugly dude.
Yeah, he's disgusting.
You know, he puts himself in this position to where he can, you know, take advantage of people, and he's gonna do it. I mean,
Well,
because he's basically put himself in this position to where, you know, nobody's gonna call him out on it. It took a long time for him. Like, look, apparently, you know, there's a lot of people that had to come forward with this whole situation before things started happening. You're talking about years and many women, you know, and this is the people that reported it, right? I'd imagine that there's like for every one that came forward, there's probably a truckload of people that didn't come forward. You know, people, you know, you give people you give a shitty person an opportunity to take advantage of people, they're gonna fucking take it.
yeah, and like you said, it's multiple factors because we don't live in a one variable world. It's multiple variables are causing everything.
No.
And the other thing is also that there's a culture in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, that protects this kind of fucked up behavior. You know, if that shit happened here, you know, well, that's a bad example because when it did happen here, it was it was
easy now.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, with normal people, like, let's say in a friend circle, that's what I was kind of more thinking of. Like, let's say we were in a club and we found out somebody was a pedophile in a club. That shit wouldn't fly. People would rat you out and, you know, kick you out and go after you hard. But even at, you know, college level, in the administration, they cover this shit up. It's always in these, like, you know, places where there's power, you know, where people want more stuff.
I think no, you're talking about shitty people wedging themselves in positions to where they can take advantage of people. And it's like, you know, and I think we were talking about the Jerry Sandusky situation.
You may or may not be.
May possibly, but like, I mean, you know, you got this shitty person that embedded himself into this culture and created this second mile thing where he, you know, was, quote, taking care of underprivileged children, which was a cover to, you know, we found out later was a cover to banging these children.
Well,
and like, but see, and then it's like, so when the story breaks out, right, these, like the president and all these people, they had a choice to make. And it's like, and it's a tough choice, you know, do I admit this and then I effectively resign because I should have known what was going on? Yeah. Or do I just look the other way and hope everything kind of just blows over? And in all honesty, for like decades, because apparently this dude's been doing it for years, like, you know, blowing it over was probably the way to do it up until, you know,
well, and the
that
other
main report came out.
The other name I thought was Matt Lauer, which is in the news business, another place where that shit gets covered up. Another powerful, industry and society.
I'm not going to comment on the Matt Lauer situation just because I don't know enough about that situation. I mean, there's complaints. There was some like, and then because
he had a button on his desk that would shut the door.
So okay, so I recently learned this that there are female executives that actually have that too, because while they're in a meeting, like a lot of the times when you're in the production office, people are coming in and out, right? Because there's a lot of things going on. Non-stop, people are going in and out. Hey, what do you think of this? Hey, what do you think of that? A lot of the times these heads have this button to lock that door to keep other people from coming in, so that they don't like interrupt a meeting, or they don't interrupt an interview, or if they're firing somebody, they don't want somebody to just come in and, you know, or whatever. So that's like that.
Okay, I can understand
Yeah.
how that can be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
But another thing you brought up that I wanted to also mention was how the biggest, I guess you could say, sickos are always also the biggest hypocrites. They're always a little bit, you know, the massive male feminists, the massive people. They're like, oh, I respect Wham, and I'm such a good person. I love Wham.
Well, that's
and then they're doing this fucked up shit.
It's projected behavior. It's like the dude. Okay, so we'll translate it into our college language, right?
Sure.
So you think of the dude that cheats on his girlfriend, right? Often he's usually the most paranoid dude of her.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, the dude that's cheating on his girl, he's the one stalking his girl's phone and like doing all that crazy. Where have you been?
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
Yep.
When are you getting back? Like,
Yeah.
no, you're like,
those type of guys and girls are like that. Always just freak me out. It's like a obsessive clinginess that's just weird.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, chill. It's another person. They have their own life. Let them be. You know, people need space. People need time on their own. You want to say something, Alex?
Yeah, no, I was talking. I did want to go and say something about the what was it, like the project of these like people out there. Like, I think a lot of people join these like progressive causes because they feel like they've done something wrong, or like, you know, they have done something wrong and they want to go and atone for it. It's like this sort of pseudo religious behavior where they need to go and like they feel like they need to go and atone for their sins, so they become like a male feminist. But, you know, in reality, they're like these ultra pedophiles. Like, they think all men.
Or it could be just a distraction too. Like, look, I created this life. Look at me. I'm this Democrat. I'm this big donor. And then on the other side, look at me. I'm taking advantage of women on a casting couch.
Yeah, no, I feel like you see a lot of people, and like it really depends on, you know, what person joined it. You know, they might have their own particular ideas. Like, you know, Harvey Weinstein probably saw this as a way to, you know, especially for being an ugly person, to get embedded and, you know, be needed by someone and be able to get like a bunch of, you know, young people. And then you get other people like Jerry Sandusky. You know, they were originally involved in there. They feel like, you know, hey, I want to go and help out these kids, but then they get perverted along the way. I don't know the individual stories about this, but like you get like certain people. It's like with priests. Like, I don't think most of these priests come in there like wanting to necessarily, you know, be child molesters, but like I guess their darker instincts just come out the longer they've been in there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that either. But I like how you said that it was these people are kind of atoning for their sins, because that's really what it is. They're almost like, because that's what religious people tend to do a lot. I always make the joke is that, you know, on Friday they'll rip off their stockholders and cheat on their wife, and then on Sunday they'll ask for forgiveness so they can do it all over again on Monday. Yeah, that's how some of these people operate.
Well,
it's almost their way of
that's
just
not all.
I didn't say all. I didn't say all. Hashtag not all. I'm just saying that's how some of these people operate, because it's a way of making it seem okay. It's like, oh, I got forgiven. Well, no, you didn't. Your actions still have consequences.
Well, it's a self-rationalization process. Like, they need to go and make it, you know, hey, I might be a completely disgusting human, but look how much little, you know, kids, impoverished kids I'm helping. Or, hey, you know, might be this evil person, but, you know, hey, look, I'm a priest, so that's, you know, that's how they kind of interpret this. And some of them just join to go and get easy access to people too. Like, it's really very different. But I think, you know, you see a lot more of this stuff now because you get a lot of people who have gained, like, just the internet. I think it just kind of escalated things. Like back in the 50s, not only would you not hear about it as much because they didn't have, like, you know, recording systems like easily accessible, like cell phones and Snapchat, but like, you know, I just don't think there was as many because it was a lot harder. You didn't have the internet to go and get this stuff. You'd have to get, you know, like in some sort of secret circle that would go and send, you know, pictures through the mail or something, or like meet up. But now with the internet, you can go into, like, you know, websites and see disgusting stuff. And I think that extent, and that just makes it so much simpler, like so much easier. And that's why I see so much more common people doing it. Like it used to be, I mean, there's always disgusting people who would do it, but now it's become like the barrier to entry is so low. And people see the work of others and they want to go and do that, but worse. It's like same thing with school shooters, I feel. Like you didn't see as much of those back then because you didn't have the internet, and they wouldn't like report on something necessarily. You won't get the same day, and there won't be the 24-hour news cycle. And like today, it just gets overshown, and they're like, hey, I could do this. I could do it even better. Back then, they'd be like, oh, no one really heard of this. It's not even that the weapons are more deadly now. Like, because in all honesty, the weapons technology in America kind of, it's kind of stuck in this like World War I era, mentality. Like we don't, it's like the most we got is like semi-automatic weapons. That's about it. But like, these school shooters, the weapon, like you've had Tommy guns since like the 20s, and you had stuff like that. We've had semi-automatic weapons since like the 1920s.
Oh yeah, the technology's plateaued.
The 1950s, like, I mean, yeah, they can do different stuff. Like, you can carry this easier. It's made out of polymer, but, in terms of deadliness or whatever, it kind of peaked. You're only limited to so much of semi-automatic capacity. Sure, you can make it more reliable or more compact or, do this or more accurate. But in all honesty, it's kind of stuck in the 50s. Like we've had, semi-automatic weapons for the consumer market. You had, in the 50s or 60s. But right now it's becoming an issue. The guns haven't changed. It's something else. And I think the internet might have something to do with that. You get these like edgelord websites, and I think it like trains people. And you get like and same thing with the pedophiles. They get these edgelord websites and they get these groups, and they might get addicted to like, you can go onto the internet and look at porn. It's like, oh, I like porn, and then let's see, like, look at this, like, hot blonde, young blonde. Then you get this like barely legal shit, and then it starts going down into this stuff. And once it's barely illegal, it's like, oh, what's the difference between this and that? And then I think that's how these like pedophiles work, and it probably gets them a sick thrill. And once they've like looked at that shit enough, it gets, once you do that, you can only do something for so long before you want more. And that's like a human, like to a certain extent, it's a human thing. But like for these people, it's disturbing. It's not like a human action what they're doing. It's like a immoral action. It's just the natural evolution. It's like not the unnatural evolution and just the perversion. It's how you get stuff like furries today. You wouldn't find that shit before they had the internet. That's how it just gets more and more perverted in this cyclical, cycle.
Well, speaking of barely legal, I just got an ad for Cutco on my Facebook here, and they're nice. I couldn't resist. The other, when you mentioned about the furries too, I think that the internet's a big driver of this, because the internet's connected more people across the world than ever before. Like, for example, you've had Star Wars conventions back in the 80s and whatnot, but not at a level like today. Also because there's more movies, there's more, content out there. But the community is now more connected than ever. People on the Star Wars subreddit, on the Star Wars Facebook page, can now connect all over the world. Whereas back in the day, you would all maybe connect through some letters at most, but other than that, you'd just be going to conventions and whatnot to, for the hardcore fans. But with furries, they might have been out there before. I mean, I don't know the history of furries. I have to check that one up. But
the internet has been great to me. I've been joining I was a part of an online Star Wars community, and it's been the best thing for me ever.
Well, Incel Phil has just joined the podcast now.
Well, see, this is how you get these like just strange society, like just strange like perversions and stuff. It's not even just furries. Like, I bet they didn't have these like these Kleenex queens or whatever they call it, where they put like a little towel over their chest and they spray it with like a squirt bottle. Like I saw some weird. I accidentally stumbled upon that area when I was like 16. I was like, well, I don't like this. How is this? Something interesting. You get all these things because of the internet. When you were alone, you might be the only person who likes, I don't know, butts in the town. Just not actually, but like, it just grows when you might only be 1% of the population of like the general area, but 1% of the entire world's like a bajillion people. So that's how it goes, and then they start showing other people stuff, and then they get their friends involved with it, and then it just keeps growing and growing. And that's why we like today, that's why anime's popular. you think back in the 80s, like that stuff was popular at all? No, because no one would, subtitle them. It was all in Japanese. You'd
Right.
have to be like a Japanese, like, language learner to really see that shit, unless it was like, unless it was a super popular one that they brought over here. But like nowadays, you can find like simulcasts, and you get all this, strange anime too, with like the incest and stuff, and that's how that became a thing. It's the internet. It creates and intensifies ostracized communities, like just small bits of people. Like, you all probably know someone who liked cartoons like Ed and Eddie as a kid, but then you get people who like the My Little Ponies these days, or like the the Naruto porn or whatever the youngins are watching, you're like the Minecraft.
It's like the weird.
Minecraft porn.
That's like the weirdest shit. The anime porn, whatever it is. That
Yeah.
is the weirdest.
That's weird shit.
That is the weirdest shit ever. Like,
Well, Adolfsky and I were watching that anime.
Hey, I gotta cancel that shit again.
Yeah, we need to catch up on that. That fucking Goblin Slayer, like that has some weird shit in it. The first episode, I won't spoil it, because if you want to get your, shock your ass off, holy fucking shit. What goes on in that first episode is hard X-rated content.
it's weird. Just weird.
Yeah, there's a disturbing scene in there. Not for the youngins, but no, like it's just gotten so much worse. Like, back in the day they had like anime was based off of Mickey Mouse. Like that's what the Japanese saw, and they wanted to replicate it. How'd it go from like, cute, wholesome family values to like incest? How does
Yeah.
that become? Like, it's not even a joke. They literally have a genre of anime that's dedicated to that.
Yeah. You don't
They
have
got
that
so-
with our, American animation.
Oh,
like-
yes, not our animation, but you have like Game of Thrones.
Okay, but Game of Thrones is different because it's set in medieval
Oh, it's real
times.
life. That's so much better when you have real people engaging.
Have
in
you ever
pseudo-
seen the porno remake called Game of Bones?
No, don't. I don't think they're the same thing, Alex, because Game of Thrones is set in a time where incest was a thing, and they're showing because that's what happened at the time. But in this
Dude, it probably
anime,
does happen in Japan. What are you talking about? There's like a nation of incels, from what I
Nation of
understand. Like
incels.
they have like there's like over 1 million people in Japan who go and sit in their like parents' basements or whatever they have, probably like their room, and they go and watch anime nonstop, and they fantasize.
Do you watch anime in self-fill?
I'm offended by the word incel. The correct term, I think, is relationship challenge. It's a bit of a difference.
Is it?
Indeed. Of course.
Well, I see. What was my status before what happened to me? I don't know if I'd call it relate. What was that?
Volcel,
I knew you were gonna say that.
but not you're like a
Did you-
semi-Volcel.
A semi.
Did you invest in any premium Snapchats?
No, I
Oh
didn't.
my God.
I don't dive
Well,
into that degeneracy. I would fucking audit those.
Well, see, that's another problem too that the internet caused. Do you think that, like, we have these quote unquote sex workers are like pretty much everywhere, especially in like college. Like anyone who's 18 and has a camera can become a quote unquote sex worker now. Like anyone who has a cell phone, and then it's like, what have we done? How have we got to this point where back 50 years ago, if you had sex before marriage, maybe not 50 years ago, but like back in the 50s, if you had sex before marriage, that was that was pretty bad. But nowadays, if you don't have sex before marriage, you're considered a like a square. Like that's like you're like a bad person.
Well,
Like
thoughts
it's so.
thoughts have evolved to become even more degenerate. And I mean, like, at least thoughts in the 50s were somewhat classy. Like, would you consider Marilyn Monroe a thought?
Yes.
Okay, I would too. She did the Playboy shit, but she dressed nice. She did nice makeup. Thoughts these days, that I see walking around this weekend are fucking disgusting. They wear these skimpy clothes with like rips in them that look like they bought at Party City on the fucking discount rack. And they trounce around looking for guys, these sleazy like frat boys that are nothing to brag home about, and they act like this is they do this every weekend. They get fucked by these sort of disgusting people, and they act like this is a good lifestyle. This is healthy for society. And look,
See, this is sounding like incel talk right there.
I'm not an incel, but what I'm saying is,
I tend to disagree.
oh,
the
really?
more premium Snapchats that are out there, the better. It's simple economics.
Oh,
who
The
would buy
more
that? Like,
the
who-
more premium Snapchats that are out there, the cheaper it's going to be for people like me.
Like who buys that shit? Like really, who buys premium Snapchats? That's the most stupidest shit.
Yeah.
Like it's not as serious people would like buy Playboys anymore. It's like, dude, you got your fucking phone.
Yeah, you get your
What's,
porn
what's
for
wrong
free.
with premium Snapchats?
Well,
It's so
you can go off. I can sense
you
you're
can,
angry.
you can buy it for free. You get it for free off the internet. Just go and like look up half these people, and you just need to have one person to buy it, and then you go and see the bits, and it's like, oh, okay. Like once you see them, it's like, oh, I can use my mind's eye at that point, unless you have no imagination.
Well, sometimes
literally-
Pornhub just doesn't do it for me. Sometimes I need a little bit more.
You need a more intimate relationship.
There's more of an interpersonal relationship,
Maybe
sort of.
maybe you should just get a girlfriend then, like
Just
a
go onto the dating
you know,
website.
Have you seen me?
Go on a dating website. Go on a Tinder.
I'm
and
not
be like,
exactly.
oh, hey.
I'm not exactly the kind of person that really people go for.
Really. Maybe you should change that.
It's
I can't afford the plastic surgery to be able to pull that kind of thing off.
like seriously. Like what was it? The preacher says like it's easier to get the I already know.
Gary.
Yeah, he says easier to get like sex than to get a real orange juice on campus. Like it's probably pretty true. Like and that's thanks to the internet. Do you think it was? I mean, back then that's why it was hard. Like it was a if you're in the 50s and you were like getting multiple like girls, that was a hard thing to do back then.
Yeah, it was hard being a
Actually
Chad back
accomplished.
then.
It was an accomplishment, especially before they had the birth control pill.
Yeah.
Because now you're playing with fire. But
Mm.
nowadays it's like it's not enough for some people, and that's why I think you get more of these perversions because they've already conquered this like it's so like for most of human history it's a very hard thing to get. Most like a
Well-
lot of men didn't get it.
Yeah. But also, we're living in a world where sex is devalued more than ever, and that's where I was going on my rant there was because look, I think I'm not this fucking trad Catholic that goes saying, hey, no sex before marriage, you can only do it for one man, it must be on your wedding night. Like, fuck that shit. You're young, the hormones are on high octane, get laid, get it out of your system, but do it safely. Don't be a dumbass. Don't just start fucking some thought in the bottom of a frat house while she's drunk. You just do a class and build a relationship with somebody because you're devaluing sex, which it doesn't make it as an intimate experience. It doesn't have any meaning behind it. It's just something you do, and then when you actually want to have a kid one day, you might not be as interested. You might just want to keep doing regular sex, with protection, all that, and not actually have a kid. And you're also devaluing the I don't want to sound so fucking like feministy, but you kind of are devaluing women as just this person I find in the bottom of the frat house on weekends to make myself feel good. You're not giving anything back. You're not giving them a relationship. It's fake. It's not. I'd have to think about this some more because
You're chasing dopamine.
yeah, you're
It's
chasing
like
dopamine.
the
It's
heroin
selfish.
addict chasing the dragon, but instead of heroin, you're chasing dopamine hits.
Oh,
That's all you're doing. It's like, and that's why it's so popular with our generation. Because now they got Snapchat, you got like the cell phone.
yeah.
That's all that stuff.
that's
Like these cell
dopamine.
phone games. It's just shitty dopamine hits. It's like a drug.
It is.
And that's
it
basically
is
what
a
sex
drug.
has become.
Yeah.
It is. That's what sex has become like these days. It's just like boom, you can do it.
Sex is a drug
And
now. I like
that's-
that. Oh, I don't
I mean, it's
like
always
it,
been-
but I'm saying it's a good way to put it.
I'm not gonna lie though, there are certain porn titles that are just absolutely freaking hilarious. Look,
Like
hey,
stealing whores.
no, like clear and pleasant stranger. That's a good one. I like
Or
that
Pulp
one.
Friction.
Pulp Friction. Yeah, that's a good one.
I didn't look that up, by the way, guys. Phil
What
showed
about
that to me.
look here? Everybody does Raymond. Come on. That's funny. That's funny.
Everybody does Raymond. Speaking of dopamine hits, I am about to finish my Frappuccino here, and this will be the first ever coffee that I've actually finished.
Hey, I finished. You're
I
right.
didn't finish that one. I kind of had some left over, but this one it's gonna be my first coffee that I actually finish. So, and it's the first one I genuinely like. I don't like have to force it down. What's happening?
Well,
to
see,
me?
that's because you don't drink alcohol. Once you start drinking alcohol, you can drink anything.
It's done. It's gone. No, I'm never gonna drink alcohol. Fuck that shit. Bad drug.
It's probably just as
Coffee
bad
is
as
a good
caffeine.
drug. No, caffeine is a good drug if in moderate. Like, okay, some people can get addicted to it and then they get withdrawals like any drug, but at least coffee makes you productive. Alcohol makes you act like a dumbass or a asshole. Both things are not productive. This is productive. Now, I know people are gonna say, "Oh, but you need escapism." In my life, I have enough escapism. I have movies, TV. It's escapism that I can kind of get away from life. But also I learned something. I have something to appreciate. It's art. It's it's something that makes me happy. I mean, I think people generally are seeking pleasure in everything they do, and alcohol is most of the time when people drink a lot is because they don't have a lot of happiness in life. They don't have a lot of pleasure, so they're seeking alcohol to sort of refill that. I refill with enough stuff, but these people do movies, TV, plays, whatever, music, and then alcohol. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't want to take that risk.
We talked about this the other week. There's a pleasure suffering balance that we're always looking to achieve. You know, and you're always gonna find that balance is always going to be achieved. The more pleasuresome stuff you try to seek, the less pleasuresome they become over time. That's your body naturally looking to even that balance out. And that alcohol is kind of like that. Like alcohol or drugs or anything like that. Like when you take that drug the first time, that's a high you're never going to achieve again because that's your balance. Like your body is just naturally going to go back to that balance. So you're going to need to take more of that particular drug to get that similar
high
effect
again or
right,
more.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I always bring this up with people because I think people don't think of it the way I'm describing it. And it's a bit of self-reflection I think more people need. In other words, I think you should, if you're lacking happiness in life, don't turn to alcohol for it. Turn to making yourself a better person or doing other things. Like, for example...
It's not just alcohol, though. There's so many things you can do that will screw you up. Like, see, people with video games.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If you turn to video games, if you turn to, just jacking off. Like, I know a lot of people with masturbation addictions, and it's a real thing.
Masturbation addiction.
Like, literally, that is just like basically snorting dopamine from your dick. That's basically what it is.
I don't see the problem in playing Dungeons and Dragons for days on end.
Well, do you have a job? Do you have, an income? Do you have a girlfriend? Or are you just,
Well, of course I have a job. I'm level 43 on Dungeons and Dragons. What are you talking about?
Well, how are you going to pay for the DLC?
That's what parents are for.
What the hell are you talking about?
What was that?
They don't have DLC in Dungeons and
I don't know. It was wait. There's a Dungeons and Dragons card game and the video game. Wait, you would have both.
No, it's not a card game. It's a tabletop game. You make.
Oh, I'm sorry. I offended you. I'm kidding.
No,
I know. I'm such a normie.
Jeez, for being an incel so long, I don't know how you don't know about Dungeons and anything.
I'm not a fucking incel.
But no, it's like, I never even really played a full game of Dungeons and Dragons. Like,
Me neither, because I'm not an incel.
It's like, see, I can understand that because basically it's like Skyrim, but like you do it with your mind. You don't have fancy graphics. You do that shit on paper. It's like OG Elder Scrolls, but like for nerds.
No, we saw people when we were coming here playing that sort of shit.
Yep.
They had Magic the Gathering and fucking...
Well, Magic the Gathering's stupid because that is the original like DLC.
Incel
Like
game.
there's no point to it. No, it's just DLC, the game. That's where the DLC probably got their idea from because it's basically loot boxes every time you buy a booster pack. It's like, ooh, well, I get like just some useless, Bob the Monster card, or will I get the Exodia the Forbidden one? I mean, that's obviously Yu-Gi-Oh, but still, when I was like a little kid, I liked to collect the cards because they look cool, but that was about it. My brother played it a lot more than I did. I didn't even know the actual rules for it. Like,
Yeah,
stupid.
and you always have to get like extra cards, so like it is literal DLC.
It's gambling. It's like, see, there's so much gambling in this world that you don't think is gambling.
Oh
Not even joking.
Yeah, you're
Like
right.
I was at the mall today, and I was
Story
looking
time.
over them, and they had like one of those like stupid claw, like it wasn't a claw machine games. It was something with a key, but it was basically the same idea. And they're
Right.
all kind of gambling because there's a prize in there. You're probably not going to get it,
Yeah.
and it's like complete. Like they say it's a game of skill, but that's BS. It's a game of chance. Like they
Yeah.
all have it rigged so that a certain portion will win, but they don't get charged the taxes and the regulations that gambling does. Why not? Look at Chuck E. Cheese. Look at any arcade that has those stupid like claw games, or you put the little, quarter in there and you like try to go and launch into something. Those are all forms of gambling, but they're not regulated as such. And they want to go make a big deal that like loot boxes in video games are gambling, but at least with those, you don't actually have to pay to play them. These ones you have to go and pay real money to go and probably not win anything. You might go and win like a little ticket, but that's about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And look at carnivals. They have those stupid games. Like it's everywhere. And these kids it's been going on for years. They want to make such a big deal about, Call of Duty or Minecraft skins or whatever the kids are playing, or Fortnite skins. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they care so much about gambling, to be honest. Like, if you're addicted to gambling, that's one of the stupidest addictions you can have.
They call that stupid tax.
Yeah. Well, the thing with gambling is that there are a lot, like, look at Las Vegas. People go there and they just bankrupt themselves through gambling. I don't know, like, it's a weird type of addiction because it's not like alcohol or drugs or, those sort of substances that can alter your mind. It's something that you just, I don't want to say naturally get. Maybe it is natural addiction. It's just weird.
I think it's the thrill of possibly winning something. Yeah.
Yeah, you're so close to it.
Well, see, like, what do you get from buying a lottery ticket? 9 out of 10 times you won't get any money, but you get the thought of making money. That's what you get from that shit. It's the idea that you could be, like poor people, like they just dream of what they'll do when they get rich, and rich people, they don't, they're already rich. They don't think about that. Like people who, will become rich one day, they don't spend days. Like I know poor, like, when I was a kid, I used to think of that, but I knew friends who just going to spend hours like, I get $1 million. The first thing I'm going to do is this and that. They construct this fantasy escapist world where they're rich because of a stupid ticket they spent like $2 on or whatever it is. And they never get it, and they never will. 1 in a million people will get it, but half the time, and then when they do get it, they still end up being dirt poor anyways. After like 5 years, the bankruptcy rate's like 80%.
I don't mind old people playing like the lottery or gambling or whatever. It's like, look, you're at your last legs. You're trying to get that last zing in there, like
you can't get up anymore. So what are you gonna do?
My dick doesn't work.
You're thinking the same thing.
My dick doesn't work. My prostate is the size of a basketball, and I can't pee right. So I'll take the fucking lottery ticket.
What are they going to do even if they do get the money? It's like, well, I could buy a car, but I can't drive it because I'm too old.
I'll buy more lottery tickets.
I'll buy a huge house, and I can't really do anything with it because I need my mobility scooter, or I have to go and use a walker around it. It's like, what the hell are you going to do? Give it to your grandkids?
Well, speaking of old people, not to deviate so much from our interesting side conversations, but the old and decrepit Bernie Sanders has crawled out of his retirement home, has decided he wants to run again in 2020.
Yes! Woohoo!
You're down with Bernie running, Phil?
I am freaking ecstatic that Bernie is running. I am ecstatic beyond measure. And do you know why?
Why?
It guarantees that Donald Trump will win in the next election. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's going to divide the party up.
Yeah, like that's all. Look, you're seeing how you're seeing how bad these progressives are completely ruining the Democratic Party. And like, I mean, I when I grew up, I was like, you know, when I was younger, I considered myself kind of like a classical liberal, all about like, I was more about, you know, I was about free speech, free love, you know, questioning everything, but like, but this progressive stuff right here, we've gone off the deep end. Holy Lord. I mean, look, take the Martina Navratilova story, right? Look, these people are these progressives are eating their own. That you have Martina Navratilova, basically. She's one of the LGBT icons of our time, right? Tennis great, came out in the 80s, like did all sorts of wonderful charity work, right? Lots of activism, lots of charity. She says some stuff about transgender athletes and they chuck her out of the group. They ostracize her. And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Like, and not that she did, and she has a point. She has a legitimate point. She was basically saying how male athletes that go into female sports, right? And they dominate the area, right? It's not fair. It's not fair. Like, yeah, imagine being a female athlete and you've worked your entire life to be this great female athlete. Like, pick a sport, any sport, right? You work there in your entire life, right? You've built something, you've worked trained 18-hour days, and you've dieted for like 18 years, and you work, and all of a sudden you just lose because some dude flips and wins everything the first year they're involved. And like, you're telling me that's a fair shake? You're telling me you're gonna call somebody a homophobic for even questioning the fairness of something like that? Like, come on. Wait, what was the name of that MMA fighter that was like?
Oh, I forget.
I
have terrible memory.
Oh yeah, I have terrible memory too. But there was like
this now.
Back in 2015, there was a transgender like UFC fighter.
It was beating the shit out of women.
I mean, she was beating them so bad she should have been sent to jail. Like, I mean, it was bad.
Oh
like,
yeah.
And like, it's not fair. It's like, oh, I gotta.
And the thing is what you're saying is not controversial. Like, this is objectively true. And I've wondered if the left has been pro trannies in sport because they down in the bottom of their hearts know that the trannies, when they go into women's sports and they're basically men, will beat the shit out of women. And they're
Fallon
fine
Fox
with that.
is her name.
Fallon Fox.
She look go. Hey, look her up sometime. Shit, that is a ripped dude looking. She's a dude. It's like yeah. You look at the field like come on, and you're gonna put her up against this female. Hell yeah, she's gonna knock her out, bust her freaking eyes all up, and people are thinking, oh, that's okay, girl power, right? No, that's not. That's bullshit.
But like I was saying, I think it's because the left is gonna eat their own here because. They want the trannies to win and be like, oh, look at this. They set a world record. This is empowering. This is amazing. But they allow it because they know that's what will happen. That's what I'm saying. They'll be fine with it. They're fine with these trannies beating the shit out of women in wrestling and boxing because they go, oh, tranny's going to do really well. And it's going to look good for the trans community. Oh, this victim is going to look really good now. Because that's how the left views. Like, they view victims, and they want these victims to achieve some sort of status that they can become a trophy of their movement. Like, look at this one. Look at how great they are. When they really, I think some of them don't give a shit. But I think it's, especially with what's funny with that case is that the tennis player, Martina
Navratilova, yeah.
Thank you. I wasn't going to try to pronounce it. She's a lesbian, married to a woman, but she got kicked off the LGBT board because she said something that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
And it shows their hierarchy of, trannies are a little bit more important in our mind than lesbians, so bye-bye. Do you have something to add to this, Alex?
Oh, man, see, like, I think you should get, like, they should have a debate between an actual, like, a gender studies professor and then, like, someone who's actually, like, a scientist or, like, a medical doctor who knows the actual differences between a trans woman and a actual woman. And just have, like, the most epic debate at university. Like, that's something that should be done. I've never seen anyone actually, like, do this. Like, find the best gender studies professor or, like, doctor of whatever and just have them have a real debate about this with an actual scientist and watch them get blown out. Get, like, some Chinese scientists because, like, they're very logical and they're not white, so they couldn't go and say, they couldn't go and throw the racism shit on them or, like, you're super evil. Like, just to go and watch that debate, they wouldn't be able to recover. They'd be so blown out and they couldn't say anything about it, or else they'd appear to be, racist. You had to get, like, a white, like, social justice professor to do it too, because they'd be higher on the hierarchy stack or whatever it's called with the social justice. I think that's a debate worth having. Need to make it happen, boy.
Oh, we can make a lot of things happen.
Like, get that done. Like, dude, you know how based, like, and logical some of these, like, Chinese students are. They don't give a shit. They don't care about, like, what they call a white liberalism or the white left. That's the Chinese word for it. Like, all this gender politics stuff. They just care about the facts. And when you go and see the facts of this matter happen, there's no defending, why a person who is a man for more years of his life than he was a woman. Like, once you have puberty, you've already crossed the Rubicon, so to speak. You're gonna have man muscles and man bone structure, no matter what. Like, what you do with the gender reassignment, you don't go and remake the bone structure of, like, a human. Like, you might do, like, a little bit of facial structure, just, like, the very, very, like, maybe, like, top, like, 1% to 2% might be changed, but the other 99% of the musculoskeletal structure and whatnot is going to be the same way it was when you were a man. And so when you go and get into the boxing arena, you're fighting a man, and that's not fair for females.
Fox, her last fight. In her last fight, let's go through this right here.
Yeah, let's look at the facts.
Knocked her out in the first round. 2 minutes 17 seconds in the first damn round. Gave to Tamika Brents, right? She suffered a concussion, an orbital bone fracture, and 7 staples to the fucking head.
Jesus
right?
Christ.
Are you kidding me? In 2 minutes, you did all that shit, and somehow, she suffered this beating from the most beastly looking person ever to go into the women's division, and you're telling me that that's okay? Like, you're not going to want to have a conversation about that? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Well, what I always get annoyed with, and this is very prevalent to transgender debates, is the left literally does not want to have the conversation about it at all. Period. It's all you got to accept them, period. They got to be in everything, period. They got to be in your bathrooms, period. They got to be in your sports, period. Whoa. Let's hold the fuck back here. This isn't like gay people. This isn't like women or any of these other groups that have had to fight to get their rights or get their place aside, whatever. Transgenderism is different because you're changing your body while also not at the same time. Like this. Yes, you now have long hair and you wear a dress, but some of them still got a fucking penis. Some of them still have a lot of testosterone in them. They have bigger bones, stronger bones. They have bigger and stronger muscles. That's the way men are built. I'm sorry. It is literally just fact. It is reality.
Are you telling me? And look, are you telling me? Right? Look, picture this. Get married. You get married and you have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
5-year-old daughter. Let's just say. You go to a Target. The mother takes child to a Target, right? And she's trying, and they're trying to, do their bathroom business. And there's a dude that comes in, use scrubbing his old ass balls in the fucking sink. You're telling, and obviously these fucking women are gonna be traumatized because they've just seen some old dude fucking right next to him in the
Scrubbing
fucking
their
bathroom.
balls.
Oh, don't worry, I identify as a woman. Don't worry, let me scrub my balls in peace.
Yeah.
No, that's fucking terrifying. That's terrifying.
Well, that's why.
And it's like, okay, so sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
It's like it's not like I'm against people wanting to be another gender. Hey, if you want to be another gender, go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Go out there, be somebody,
agree.
whatever.
Do what you want for life.
But there's no fucking way you're going to tell me that we have to sit here and at least not have a conversation about some big fucking human being mowing down women in the UFC, and somehow that's okay.
Well, this is what always gets me: is what is wrong with having a conversation? Why is the left so scared of it? Do they think they're going to lose, or are
more often than not, logic's not on their side? Honestly, I'm just going to call it like it is. Logic is not on their side. Like, you're telling me and here's what I'm saying. The progressive has turned into this vicious
monster
demon that's like eating everything that even remotely disagrees with them.
Yeah.
Like even remotely. And we've seen liberals that have been liberals most of their life, and they say one thing that goes against the crazy progressive agenda, and it's like, I give you fire. Like, no, Ricky Gervais, right?
I love Ricky.
Right?
I love
right?
Ricky.
One of the but he's like he identifies as a liberal.
Yeah,
he
a
identifies
leftist
as
liberal.
as fairly progressive. He says some shit, and they blast
burn him.
They blast him.
Yeah,
like,
they burn him at the stake.
But you know what?
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm glad they're doing it.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they're doing it. And I'll tell you what, if conservatives have any fucking brain cells to them, they embrace everyone that's ostracized by the fucking progressive left. Everyone. Like you know, because I'm sorry. The acceptance and the tolerance, from what I'm seeing, maybe I'm wrong, but the tolerance that I'm seeing is coming from the right. It's coming from the right.
Oh yeah, the right is 1,000. And used to be in the 90s, all the religious right that hates gays and hates all these other things and is touchy and wants to censor things to offend them. It's totally flipped now. The left is the one that shuts down, Milo Yiannopoulos, a gay man that's, has a black husband, because they don't like his opinions on, capitalism and free speech. They shut down all these speeches. They shut down people. They call jokes racist and sexist. They are the no fun side now. We on the right are the fun side, and that's why we are winning the culture war. And you're seeing backlash against a lot of these things recently. And what I think is also more interesting is how you have, this younger generation coming up that's more a rebellious punk rock generation against the millennials. And they're rebellious in the sense of not being hippies or anything, but being MAGA hat wearers. By wearing a Trump hat, that's the coolest thing you can do now. That's the edgiest thing you can do, is wear a MAGA hat in the gender studies class.
And let's go back to Bernie here. Like,
yeah, how did we go off that train?
Let's go back. No, this is good. This has been great conversation.
Yeah, it is.
But let's go back to Bernie. Sure. Call it the socialist So we talk about progressiveness, and we talk about progressives eating each other. And here you have a progressive, and he's running for president again. And we're seeing in world history, we've seen socialism fail in every facet of world history. Like you look at every facet of world history, socialism has failed utterly fucking miserably. And so, and then you see AOC, right? The day, like the month she takes over, right? Her little district, whatever the fuck it is, she already fucks up an Amazon deal that brings billions of fucking dollars, thousands of workers. We're already seeing socialism fuck shit up here, right? We're already seeing it. It was just like a month or two into this bullshit, and we're already fucking seeing it. You want more of that? You want more of that? Go ahead, vote for Bernie if you want more of that. No, I'll stick to what's been working for the last couple hundred years.
You know, I was going to transition into the rant segment, but I think you did that for us, Phil, with the rant on Amazon here and socialism. Yeah, we're going to start a new segment, especially when we get the actual radio show back up and running, but we're going to test it out here of doing rants. They're hopefully fun, informative, passionate, and bring a little sparkle in your life and find a bit of relatability.
We're looking for that nice sparkle.
Yeah, we are. So I just want to give enough time for that today, and hopefully before I don't run out of battery life. But we're looking fine. We're looking fine. Just. I saw you like look up like uh-oh. Phil is very concerned about the production of the podcast, which I love seeing. Do you have a rant you want to start us off with, Alex, or have you not thought of one yet? If not, I have one I've ready in the chamber.
No, I mean I kind of went off on a rant about the pedophiles, but no, I think in general though, like one thing I've noticed with like our generation is that a lot of people, they're just like, I do think that like that dopamine stuff is becoming an issue. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, you know, have you noticed it? Have you ever like gone to try to go and read a full-length book anymore? And you just realize that you can't do it because it's too like you're too long sitting down. Like we've gotten so addicted to this like now culture of today, where you can't just go and like, you know, stay still for so long. It's like I think that's why ADHD is on the rise. It's because we have so much information and shit at our fingertips, and I think that's going to be a major problem. Like, everyone wants shit done now. We have like Amazon, you can get food, like shit delivered to you from like, you know, stuff that would be back in the day, like, you know, impossible. Like, well, I want to get this, like, you know, some Japanese train set that they only made a handful of back in the 50s. Oh, I can find that on eBay. I can find that on Amazon. You know, it's like we have become so like, just, it's like a weird situation, you know? It's something that the world has never seen before, where we have just so much of this power, and that's thanks to like just the internet, more important, like internet, you know, 2.0 or 3.0 as it is. And while this is all happening, you know, the world just hasn't been like able to go and cope with it. You know, like look at like the truck drivers now. It's like, you know, there's becoming less and less of them because it's a shit job, and they know they're not going to be able to do this for the next 40 years. So how the hell we can get the stuff to our house, you know? If you think about that stuff, like I don't know what's gonna come of that. Like our generation's just having such a low attention span. Like how, like that's probably why kids are being so screwed up, because these parents, they probably can't go and stand to go and like watch them anymore.
Well,
you know,
this is what I see with parents all the time is what they do now. Like if you're at a park or something, let's say you're at a park with your kids, you got them, and you sit down on the bench. What I see the parents do is they throw their kid their iPhone. They throw their kid their iPad. They don't go and play with them. They don't go and interact with them. They just give them something to keep them busy and to keep them off their backs. Now, look, I get it. Parenting is hard. It's probably one of the hardest jobs in the world. It's a very time-consuming. It's very, sucks you of energy. So I understand when there's going to be times where you just got to go, I need a break. I get that. But you can't be doing this all the time. And that's what I keep seeing with parents is that their go-to to make their kids happy is to throw them a screen, throw them an iPad, throw them an iPhone. It's again, irresponsible parents that are fucking their kids up and fucking themselves up by being a fuck up, if that's enough fucks to make sense there. But it's human interaction is dying. And even though we are more connected than ever, we also are not at the same time, which is depressing. And again, I hate when people blame the technology. I know you're not doing that, Alex, but
Well, no. What pisses me off?
I'm blaming people that are irresponsible.
Well, no. What pisses me off is you'll go into like a fancy ass restaurant, and then what are people doing? They're sitting next to each other on their freaking cell phones, and like they paid like going to Ruth Chris, and they're just texting on their damn cell phones. They take a little selfie of the steak that they're eating. They probably, they'll take time. And it's just like, what the hell's the point? Why go and like talk to people? Why go out and do shit if all you're gonna do is like, stare at a freaking phone, stare at the, click on the dopamine button over here. Ooh, I can show some of my friends on Facebook. I might get a like. I might get 10 likes. Ooh, someone might go and send me a thank you comment. Yeah. Like that's the hottest shit they have these days. Like our generation just so
I totally
boring.
agree with you, Alex.
Same.
If unless you're at a fucking restaurant that has Michelin stars, put your fucking phone away. Eat your food, enjoy the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Take it in. Interact with people, real people.
Yeah.
It's fucking wonderful.
Well, it's like even when we were eating dinner today, the only time we brought our phones out was to show each other stuff or to look something up.
Yeah.
We use it as a tool rather than a crutch.
Yeah.
And that's what people are doing. It's like, oh, it's awkward now, phone. And I just, even when I'm with other friends and I see them, we sit down like, oh, we haven't talked in a while. I get to talk to so-and-so. This is cool. We sit down. What's the first thing they fucking do? Pull out their phones. I literally want to take and throw
I didn't
it.
even tell you this. I went out on a date a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
And this chick, no. I mean, I go out on dates all the time, but but
I knew that.
Yeah, but
Playboy.
this chick
Yeah.
was on Tinder at the table.
What?
While we were eating. Like,
fucking patrol that thought.
Yo. I was like,
I would have
no.
just like left right before you paid
Yeah,
the
no,
check and just
that's
like,
exactly what the fuck I did. I got up. I'm like, I went to my waiter. I'm like, look, I'm sorry.
Bitch is paying.
This
not
no,
me.
no, and I don't. I
know,
pay.
I'm kidding.
I pay. I'm
Oh
like,
man, you were
all right.
esteemed gentleman.
But yeah, no, so what I did was I got up. I was like, oh hey, I'm going to the bathroom. I fucking lied. I went to the waiter. I'm like, look, just here's some money. Here's some, we're done here. I can't do this. And then I left. Fucking left.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that, I'm not trying to like be that sort of guy, but that's the one thing I do really like about my girlfriend is that she is in general, I never see her on her phone. I actually see her on her phone when she's doing homework more than anything. But when we're together at a restaurant, I have yet to see her pull it out once. I remember the one time she only pulled it out because her mother called. And, when your mother calls, you kind of have to answer that. But it's just, it's so weird that I have to say that, like, I like that in a person, Like, 5 years ago, you didn't have to go, oh, I'm so glad this person is on their phone on a fucking date, Like,
well, dude, you mentioned that Tinder shit. Like, good lord, like that Tinder app is one of the worst. Like, it's one of the worst inventions I think for our society. It's created so much thoughts.
Yeah.
Like before they had Tinder and like other these like stupid like sex dating websites. It was actually like a lot more.
Thought
difficult.
is like the funniest term ever.
What was that? The thought audit.
Thought. No, that is fun. That thought audit. That was hilarious.
Genius.
Anyway, I'm really sorry, Alex. Continue.
It's like just. No, you mentioned that Tinder shit. It's like the scourge of our society.
Yeah.
Like it really is when you think about it. It's not even like, back in the day, even if you use eHarmony, it's different than you go to Tinder. It's like, ooh, and it's like the most cucked dating app out there. You can't even just go up to a girl and ask her, hey, I like you. She has to go and like you too. It's like so stupid. It's like this feminist dating apps. The only thing worse is Bumble.
Yeah, Bumble.
That's even worse. That's the only thing that's
shit.
even worse. I've never even used that shit.
Me neither.
But It just seems so cucky. It's not even, you have to like be right near this person, do that. And they had like another dating app that like it'll like recommend you people based on the places that you go, and that's just so creepy. It's like, ooh, I go to the what was it to like I go to the Aubon Pain. Like, who just does that shit? Like, no, I go to the fucking bathroom. They go like recommend me people. I go to the fucking Walmart.
That's good for the
like
trannies. I go to the bathroom.
Because I'll scare them away. Like, see, that's just modern day proms that you never had beforehand. And then like this Tinder too, like it's just so it makes people just so just like single minded. It's like, oh, I can go and like look at this person, while I'm dating while I'm taking someone else on a date, so I have someone in case this one sucks. It's just like, what's the point of that, and it just devalues people. So it's like, if some girls going on Tinder, it's like all the time, and she's like a big like babushka looking for the sausage everywhere. You're gonna want to go. It's like hey, I'm not gonna want to take you out on 3 dates before I get something that like everyone around town's like been got. So that devalues the woman. It's just like, and it devalues.
And you called
just
me
the
an incel for saying the exact same thing.
Well, there's a way. It's one of those things where someone. But like,
Gotcha.
I don't know. You said it in incel tone.
Did I? I knew you were gonna say that.
I don't want to sound like a girl over here, but it's not what you said. See, that's one of the things. Like people tell you, like hey, men and women are the exact same thing, but outside of that, that's something that you very rarely hear out of a man. But I will say it then because it makes sense for the conversation.
Look, I don't care what the social norms are. I always say what's on my mind, what I believe. No filter, no bullshit. Just let's cut the shit, folks. Let's get to it. That's the way I am. I don't care if I'm perceived as an incel or as a Chad or as an asshole or as a whatever.
As a Chad.
Well, because I'm going on the full
21
spectrum
and
here.
virgin.
What was that?
21 and virgin.
Sean, the milk drinking Chad.
Hey, I drank a frappuccino today. So.
I drank a frappuccino. I'm not.
That's like going buying a martini. Like, oh yeah, I drink big boy alcohol.
I drink a
James Bond. James
I have
Bond.
an apple teeny.
James Bond drinks a martini shaken not stirred, and he's the biggest fucking
Chad
Chad
it's
ever.
a vodka martini, not an apple teeny. That's the best. Like, good lord, it's like the most gayest drink out. That's the only reason he meant. I just heard that before. Like, I've never drank one of those. I'm sorry. Like, an actual martini, I can understand that, but like an apple teeny, it's like, what are you doing over here?
I think that should have been your rant, the apple teeny.
I didn't know what was going on with it. You go on yours now, Mr.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go on my rant. So, this week, on Sunday, I believe, I forgot it was this Sunday, is the Oscars. Now, I don't give a shit about the Oscars. I don't watch the Oscars. It's a waste of time. It's just a bunch of virtue signaling and leftist, well, fuck Trump garbage.
And advertising.
And a shit ton of advertising. And it's just a very elitist circle jerk. But I love movies, so I'm always curious what's happening and whatnot, and I sometimes get in on the action a bit. It's one of those things like I don't give a shit about, but I kind of do at the same time. It's weird. But this has been a bad year for movies. You love movies too. Would you agree this is a bad year for movies?
It hasn't been a great year, no.
Yeah, I've only been to the theater I think twice to see. Let's see. I saw Solo, which was terrible. I saw Mission Impossible Fallout, which was fucking awesome, and I don't think I've seen anything else. And now things I'm like half interested in turn out to be disappointments. But the biggest disappointment is the Best Picture list. We have Bohemian Rhapsody, which I've heard mixed things. The Favorite, which I heard was kind of good, I guess. The Green Book, I heard that was good. Roma, which I don't think I'm gonna like, but I'll probably see on Netflix because that's where it's out. A Star Is Born, which is a remake of a remake with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. I might see that because they're playing at the Hub tonight, actually, but I think I'm going to miss it. It's too late, it looks like. Vice, which I thought had an awesome trailer, but I heard is a terrible movie. It just trashes Dick Cheney to a ridiculous degree and makes him a cartoon villain. So, and that was coming from a lefty friend told me that. So even the lefties out there don't like that movie. They think it actually trashes Dick Cheney too hard. But I think Roma's going to win Best Picture. Hopefully not Black Klansman, which is that one where they just at the end like draw parallels with Trump and Charlottesville, and it's just silly. But there's another nominee on here. There's another one that's just fucking pissing me off. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I did see this movie in theaters. Black fucking Panther. Black Panther is a Marvel movie. Is nothing, there's nothing unique about this film at all. It's another typical Marvel movie. The only thing that's slightly different is that it's all black people except for 2 white guys. You have the Toykin white guys, so Martin Freeman and Gollum, Andy Serkis, Gollum. And people, when this fucking movie, before it came out, there were reviews. There was like, oh, Black Panther has changed cinema. It's revolutionizing the film industry. It's innovating film. And I immediately rolled my eyes and went, stop fucking virtue signaling. It cannot revolutionize. It literally can't. It's just another Marvel movie. Like, I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. I like some of their movies. I like Iron Man. It's a great, fun film. Avengers Infinity War, for what it is, it's pretty good, Even though I think, it's kind of stupid how they end it because they're just going to reverse everything, spoiler alert. But I saw Black Panther. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a perfectly fine film. I did not think it was the best Marvel movie. Definitely not the best superhero movie. In my opinion, The Dark Knight's the best superhero movie ever made. If you consider Incredibles 1, that would be number 2 for me, and probably Logan at number 3. But Dark Knight wasn't nominated for Best Picture. Logan wasn't nominated for Best Picture. And those are objectively better, higher quality films. But Black fucking Panther, and only because it has black people in it, and Hollywood wants a virtue signal, how their hashtag Oscars so white thing, and how they're not racist, nominated this motherfucker for Best Picture. Best fucking picture. It doesn't deserve the nomination. It doesn't even deserve to be in consideration. If it fucking wins Best Picture, you will see mean words like you've never seen before in the group me's. I will be livid because it is such bullshit pandering. It's so disingenuous and so unworthy of even being nominated. But for it to win, which I don't think is going to happen, would be absolutely insane. I hate virtue signaling, but I hate how they are just jizzing over this movie like it's some fucking masterpiece that's, changed cinema, like it's fucking 2001: A Space Odyssey or it's fucking Psycho. This thing does nothing new at all. There have been black superheroes before. There's been movies with a lot of black people. Great. I have no problem with it.
You're
But this
racist
shit-
for even saying that shit, motherfucker.
Yeah, I should say it's on the actual radio show. We gotta get kicked off again. But it's just fucking there's a lot of black actors I love. I love Samuel L. Jackson. I love Idris Elba. These people are great. If they're in a movie that's of high quality and Best Picture, it should be nominated. But this fucking thing is not worth it. It's just I'm running out of bad things to rant about it because it's just I could go off on days about it, but I've ranted about it so much because that's just how bad this year's been, that we've had to stoop to the level to nominate a average Marvel movie for Best fucking Picture. It's just insane.
Dude, how many more of these freaking movies are they gonna have? These fucking superhero movies, like every year. We
Yeah.
have more superhero movies. Like, when are they gonna just stop?
Yeah, I think it's going to eventually get it to a point where they're going to stop. It's kind of like the Westerns that went on for like a decade, 2 decades. I think these are going to go on for quite a bit while, but they're still making a shit ton of money, so they're going to still keep making them.
Adam Ruins Everything has fucked it up for me. Like the Oscars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he goes into detail about like how like most of these movies aren't like, it's not about like who's the most deserving or whatever. It's like because he talks about like the 4-year considerations and how some of how the voters get tailored personally by some of these guys, and it's like it's not bribery, but it's about as close to bribery as it gets.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is these award shows are totally rigged. The Academy that votes on it is a bunch of old boomers that some of them they only have to see these movies They don't have to see them.
No.
And the big studios will lobby these people and give them nice shit and goodie bags.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's how you'll see bullshit win. That's how you'll see movies that, audiences are like, oh, this is just an average movie, win Best Picture. You know, it's again, I think actually what gets me more is the elitist culture. I think that's why I can't stand this shit. It's because it's a bunch of like, people with martinis and suits and, cigarettes just sitting around like, let's see. And they have scarves on and they're like hipsters, some of these people. And they have like circular glasses just stroking their chin going, Black Panther's a landmark achievement for African Americans. And we feel so great about it that we're nominated for the Best Picture. And it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. We should what people should do is make like a People's Oscars, a People's Choice Award sort of deal. I know there's already one kind of called that, but where the populace, the people vote for this shit, and then it gets awarded.
How do you vote for it?
That's a good question. That's the difficult part. Is that
Dude, if you let the internet vote for it, you're gonna get like 4chan
Bots.
making some stupid video,
yeah,
like the most stupidest movie, and have it like win. That's
Maybe
what
it'd be
you'll get.
something
You let the
like-
people do it.
like when they did the new Seven Wonders of the World. Do something like that where you have like a very sophisticated polling that can confirm that you're a person that's alive and pays taxes. I guess something like that where you could you'd have to do some pretty sophisticated stuff, but it's I don't know. It's just I see. I want there to be an Oscars. I want there to be a culture where people celebrate art and celebrate film, but the way they're doing it now is just elitist snobbery, and it's bourgeois, white liberal, night of pat ourselves on the back for how good we are, and it's just phoniness that I can't stand. So that's my rant.
All right.
Anything else you guys want to discuss or talk about? We have, a few minutes left we can go before we hit our 2-hour mark.
Okay. Well, why not? All right. So when the whole I'll go. Oh shoot! I'm messing all this thing
Jesus.
up. All right, sorry. Yeah.
You're going
it's
to tip this
weird.
over, Phil.
Yeah. No. It's like it's crazy. Anyway, sorry. Digression. So when the Jussie Smollett case happened, right, and all this whole storyline was playing itself out. One of the lines that I heard on the news was victims need to be believed. What? Are you out of your fucking mind? Here's my take on it, right? No one in this world deserves to be believed. How about that? You want to talk about you want to talk about the first off, who's a victim, right? Who's the fucking victim, right? You know how you find that shit out? An investigation, right? You're not nobody's gonna and the victim and the investigations are there to find the truth. They're not there because if all I did was just believe whatever the fuck the person said, then well why the fuck do I need investigation? Let's just take this person's word for it. But here's the thing: people lie, right? People don't tell the truth, as we just found out with Jussie, right? Sometimes people are just full of shit, right? That's why we have investigations, to find out the objective truth of whatever the hell happened, right?
That's racist.
No, it's probably sexist too, because it's like, oh,
And homophobic.
yeah, because I think Maisy Hirono said some shit like that during the Kavanaugh hearings. These women deserve to be believed. No one deserves to fucking be believed. No one. That's why you have investigations, and the investigations bring out the facts, and ultimately that information determines who's a victim, who's a perp, who's whatever, right? So...
And it's not that I don't want to believe these people. Like when somebody's like saying, "Oh, I was raped," I want to believe you and hope that you're honest. But again, trust but verified.
I don't even trust. I'm like, look,
Well,
let's,
yeah.
let's do the investigation. I will listen to you. Okay, everybody deserves to be listened. I can make a concession there. So you listen to somebody, you take into account the information that they provide, and then you get multiple people, everybody who was involved in whatever particular situation happened. You get as much information as you possibly can, and from there, you gather a storyline based on that information. But I'm not fucking believe the first person that comes in that goes, oh, this happened to me. Like, no, you know how many fucking people have lied over the year? Look, like, you know, and I'm sure, you know, and it's not, and we're not saying that, you know, sexual assaults or rapes or even hate crimes don't happen. I'm saying that fake hate crimes and fake rape allegations happen too. And guess what? They fucked it up for everybody. And that's why we have these damn investigations. And yeah, if you fake a rape, if you fake a sexual assault, or if you fake a fucking hate crime like Jussie just did, you deserve to go to fucking jail. And I don't give a shit who disagrees with me, because you know why? Those fake accusations fuck it up for the real victims out there.
Yeah.
They fuck it up for the real victims.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now, like, so now, whenever a victim, a real victim, one that doesn't have the money of a fucking Jussie Smollett, whenever they go to the cops, now they're going to have to be like, well, we're going to take your information and whatever. And that's just the way it is. And it's fucked up, but yeah, you can thank those fucking people, those people that had to bullshit their fucking case. You can blame them. Sorry.
Amen. That's come from an atheist.
Yeah, like, honestly, I think that, like, fake crime should be given just as much, if not even more of a punishment than a regular hate crime. Because when you create a fake hate crime, not like you gonna hurt everyone else's perception of people who've been real hate crimes. So I think it should be, you know, at least the same, but probably even more, you know, more of a punishment for the fake rape, fake, people who, like the Jussie Smollett thing, because there's really, you know, because it's something that needs to be drilled down that you can't fake this shit, because you harm every victim of a hate crime when you do a fake hate crime. You harm every, you know, person who's actually been raped when you do a rape hoax. And that's why I think we need, like, Trump needs to go make a task force to go and, you know, get on these things.
Yeah, I think it's tricky because it's very hard to prove a negative. And, you know, when you're in that position, like, let's say Kavanaugh, if they say you raped me and he goes, no, I didn't, and they say prove it, he goes, well, you know, you kind of, it's hard to prove you didn't do something, even if you say, oh, I was here.
But it's not
I
up
was
to you
there.
to not prove it. It's up to,
Yes,
it's up to the fucking, I mean, yeah, granted,
that's
you know,
true in
the
a court of law,
court of public opinion, blah blah blah.
Yes.
But
it's what I'm talking about is what happens to your image. Yes, you might not, because this is the point that I think is underlying what you're saying, is that it's not really the legal consequences, it's the social consequences. If you get these accusations thrown at you, you get fired from your job. PayPal will deny you of service. You can't open a bank account, even if it's true or not. Because look what's happening to the Covington kids.
Yeah.
Look what's happening to YouTubers like Sargon or Milo, people like that, where people say, like Sargon, you know, said the N-word. Now he's in a way that was mocking the alt-right.
I'll say this about the Covington shit. I hope, I pray that the Washington Post is forced to pay for what happened to these fucking kids, man.
Yeah.
I pray, and I hope these lawyers use that money and they go after all these other pieces of shit too. I just go after all of them. I'm done. Like, you're telling me, another rant. Oh, let's do the fucking Covington
we're going
one.
back.
You want to go? You want to do that one? Okay, let's do it. The Covington, so in the news, Covington situation, the family of these Covington kids hired a lawyer. They're going after the Washington Post. So to the tune of $250 million. They're not going to get $250 million, but they're probably going to get something. The Washington Post, I'm assuming the Washington Post is probably going to try to settle it to but the cool part about what these Covington kids did, they gave these people 48 hours to recant, to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of these people did. A lot of these people didn't. Fuck them. Take them to court. Take them to fucking court. Bleed these pieces of shit dry. Yeah. Like, I have no love for them. These guys gave you 48 hours, 2 days. If that ain't enough for you to fucking recant, right? All you got to do is say, "Oh, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'll delete the tweet. I'll delete whatever the hell it is that made you look bad." If you don't do that shit, yeah, you deserve to get sued.
Yeah, and that's this is where you have to hold the media up to a higher level of etiquette, that of objectivity and truth, because the thing that happened with Covington that pisses me off is that the media was lazy. They didn't do their homework. They didn't look for other videos. They just saw this one video and jumped on it. They should be smarter than that, but they're not.
Well, no, they don't like they're under this pressure. Like, the media is competitive,
to get shit out quickly,
and they're trying to get this shit out quickly.
Yeah,
but you ruin these. You fucked over these children. And yes,
that's the bigger
16,
thing.
16 years old. I'm sorry, they're fucking children.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, but he smirked. He wore a MAGA hat. I don't give a fuck what he wore. Okay.
Yeah.
That a 16-year-old child. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. And it's like, you know what I believe though? Honestly, I think with a lot of these fake allegations, I think lawsuits are going to be on the fucking rise. They're going to be on the rise like a fucking meteor.
Well, especially when they can see that they can win them, they're going to keep doing.
I'm telling you, this right here. See, this is going to be a precedent right here. Like this suit against the Washington Post, this is going to be a precedent right here. Because if anything, if what the Washington Post settle, or if a judge determines that they have to fucking pay out, this could open up some serious Pandora's box shit. I feel it. I feel it coming. Because like, if you can't hold these people accountable any other way, you're gonna have to do it in the civil court.
Yeah, I agree. Any last words from you, Alex?
Yeah, I think they need to go and fix some of these slander laws in this country, because I don't see how it's like. If you notice in the news, when you do anything with kids, like, they always censor their names. How come, like, the Washington Post or whoever it was, they didn't do that and they didn't get in trouble? Like, how is that not a punishable offense? Like, because from what I understand, you have to censor that shit, and they didn't. Like, they should be sued for that $200 million mark, just to set an example. This is how we stop, the fake press. We have to go and start pressing them with lawsuits, because that's unfair to the children. They need to, they should go and get everything back.
Children,
because that's going to follow that kid, years after. Like, he should, he might have to get a name change at that point. He might have to go and move. Like, all of that just be, like, that's a lot of money. Their parents have to go and buy a new house. You have to go and get a name change, like, all that paperwork, just because the Washington Compost wants to go and run a fake news, like a fake article, without listening to shit to run an ideological narrative. Like, they should lose their press pass for that, for doxing kids. And, like, CNN does that shit too. Like, they dox they try to go and dox a guy who made a meme. Like when people dox others,
Yeah.
like even the news, like who aren't actually newsworthy, or they are a kid, they should be heavily fined to stop this. Because you're an organization, you have people who should know better. It's not like, it's some people like a public access TV show or like a YouTube video. You consider yourself like a real news organization. You need to start acting like it.
Well, what they might argue is, well, we're just reporting what happened.
But you didn't report what happened.
It's a kid. You have to censor the names. They always do that.
Yeah.
But they
that's what
didn't.
I argue. Yeah, and I think that's a very good point that I think nobody's brought up about that with censoring the kids' names, because were these people over 18?
I think the kid's 16, isn't
That's
it?
what I thought.
Yeah, the kids are 16 years old. They're
Okay.
still in high school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to check that. Yeah, I also think that it's what they should do is that could be weird, but yeah, I think they should also blurry their faces too, because
they should.
his face is probably going to get out there anyway, because there's a lot of people took these videos on their cell phones, but news organizations should probably blur their faces so it's their, because now what's also going to happen is their friends are probably not going to want to be friends with them anymore, because they're going to be like guilt of association. If I'm associated with you, people are going to come after me saying, oh, why are you friends with that Nazi? Why'd you hang out with him? Do you like the Klan too? You'll get crazy shit like that.
Dude, that's part why the fucking the lawsuit was $250 million, right?
Yeah.
Look, everything in this kid's life has fucking been altered. Everything.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more real news.